coming here tonight. Can you hear me with the microphone? Can everyone hear me all the way back down there? Okay, terrific. This is a public hearing on Fisher Street lease to Kearsarge Energy, LLC. Today's date is May 12, 2020, May 16, 2022. This is a proposed hearing for conducting a, let's see, this is my script, okay. We're having the public hearing tonight. My name is Peter Collins. I'm the County Commissioner from Milton. With me is my colleague, Richard Stady. He's the County Commissioner from Canton. And our third member, Chairman Joseph Shea from Quincy, is recuperating from surgery. He wasn't available to be here tonight, but he wishes that he were here. I've been asked to chair the meeting instead. This is a public hearing pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 34, Section 14, on the County of Norfolk's proposed lease of land on Fisher Street to Kearsarge Energy, LLC. Pursuant to Section 14, a public hearing is required in the town in which the county's property is located prior to entering into any lease. Pursuant to Section 14, a public hearing must be held at least 45 days, but not more than 60 days before entering into a lease of real estate. Pursuant to Section 14, a public hearing is necessary only after the real estate offered for lease has been offered to both the Commonwealth and the town in which the property is located. I will state for the record that the properties to be offered for lease were offered to the Commonwealth on October 7, 2021, with a copy of an independent appraisal for the property and the Commonwealth declined to lease the property at issue. I will further state for the record that the properties to be offered for lease were offered to the town of Walpole on December 21st, 2021, with a copy of an independent appraisal for both properties, and the town of Walpole did not exercise its right to accept the terms of the lease before the offer expired on March 21st, 2022. I will also state for the record that the county notified in writing the Select Board of Walpole, members of the General Court representing Walpole, the Norfolk County Advisory Board on County Expenditures, and the Metropolitan Area Planning Council on December 21st, 2021. The county intends to lease one property in the town of Walpole to Kearsarge Energy, LLC, consisting of 9.0 acres of land to be leased from land that is owned by Norfolk County, with the improvements thereon contiguous with the main campus, which consists of 202.6 plus or minus acres of the Norfolk County Agricultural High School, addressed as 400 Main Street, Walpole, Mass. Said 9.0 acres of land to be leased from portions of the following recorded and registered land parcels depicted on plans entitled Plan of Land in Walpole, Mass., Plan number 971 of 1969, and Plan Book 226, and Plan of Land in Walpole, Mass., Plan number 69 of 1973, and Plan Book 235, and Land Court Case Plan 11282A, Lot A. The 9.0 acres leased area will include portions of the following town of Walpole assessor maps, parcel numbers 13-169, 13-167, 13-166, and 18-21. The present use is undeveloped. Purpose for the lease: the county proposes to lease the premises to solar developer Kearsarge Energy for the construction and installation of a 1 megawatt AC ground-mounted solar photovoltaic PV array. The rental rate: Kearsarge will pay $31,500 per year in ground rent, with a provision for a 1.5 annual increase in rent for the term of the lease. The lease term is for 20 years. The reason for the lease is as follows. In recent years, Norfolk County has struggled with the fact that revenue increases from Chapter 70 funding have far been outpaced by the increases in mandated school expenses, including utility costs, employee health insurance, and special education needs. While Norfolk County continues to make school funding a priority within its fiscal year operating budget, and historically has exceeded its mandated contribution to the Norfolk County Agricultural School, increases in Chapter 70 funding have been negligible and have been far below the rate of inflation. This operational challenge for the county is striking when these negligible revenue increases are compared, for example, to the increased cost of employee health insurance. Faced with these and other fiscal challenges, in June 2017, the county issued a request for qualifications, RFQ, pursuant to 225 CMR 19.00 for qualified renewable energy contractors or respondents interested in implementing a performance-based renewable energy system project with guaranteed on-site electricity generation on certain county properties. The county's intent was to use this solar project to address, meet, or exceed several of its goals, objectives, strategies, and actions concerning the county and schools' fiscal needs, including entering into a solar energy management services agreement, EMSA, that supports the county and schools' essential governmental functions, policies, and goals of 1. Reducing energy costs. 2. Promoting and supporting the development of renewable energy resources. 3. Reducing the county's carbon footprint. And 4. Developing a 9th through 12th grade curriculum in solar energy for the school that conforms to Common Core and next generation state science standards. The procedure for this county hearing, please listen carefully to these instructions. This hearing is your opportunity to speak in favor or against the county's proposal to lease this property to Kearsarge Energy LLC for the installation of solar panels, specifically at the so-called Fisher Street site. The county commissioners and the county director have been receiving comments and feedback from Walpole residents on this project for years. The county has worked to continually respond to those comments, and the commissioners appreciate your feedback. In order to ensure everyone may have a chance to be heard on the project, we have asked that members of the public and local elected and appointed officials sign in at the front door. I know that's taking place with Bill Buckley. We will call each person in turn and ask that you approach the microphone to make your comments. Also, we ask that you focus your comments on why you are in favor or against this proposed lease at Fisher Street. We ask that you restrict your comments to 2 to 3 minutes to allow everyone a chance to speak. Any written correspondence shall be submitted directly into the record as part of this hearing. So if you have written a script for yourself and you want to read that, that's fine. But if it's something that's written from someone else, we're just going to put that straight into the record. So every single word will be on the record. If your comments mirror the comments of another person here tonight, each person when they speak will state their name and their address. We ask you to please state that you're in agreement with the prior speaker and add any additional comments. We hope that this will allow everyone to express their opinion in a timely manner. The purpose for this public hearing is to gather information and feedback from the Walpole community about the proposed lease. We do want to hear from you. However, no one from the county or Kearsarge will be answering any questions you may have. Rather, we intend to lay out the proposed plans as currently envisioned, and after receiving your input, we may alter the plans before we finalize the lease with Kearsarge. I'd like at this time to introduce Mr. Andrew Bernstein, who will give a presentation on behalf of Kearsarge Energy. Mr. Bernstein.
So, the current benefits of what is existing right now, we have the Kemp Car Park canopy, which is a 480 AC kilowatt parking lot canopy. And on the right side, you'll see the tons of CO2 equivalents that are offset. I'll talk about that more in a second. You have the 4 buildings where solar is put on. The other roofs, unfortunately, we're not able to put any more solar on. So that's the total, and that's 331 tons of CO2 equivalent of the offset. Their Fisher Street 1 megawatt AC agricultural solar project, and I'll talk a little bit what an agricultural solar project means. The carbon offsets equivalencies are 1,769 tons of carbon dioxide annually, which is the equivalent of carbon sequestration of 1,967 acres, which are saving of trees. vastly offsetting 6 acres of second growth trees, which are proposed to be removed. That's the equivalent of taking 349 passenger vehicles off the car annually, the electricity use enough to power 292 homes annually, and it's the same as consuming 180,000 gallons of gasoline. This project will be expanding the farmable area because of the tracking system, which I'll talk about in a second as well. The ag solar array will be the most efficient in the portfolio, supercharging the economic and environmental benefits of each kilowatt that's installed. As part of the ag and solar portfolio, the ag solar array will generate credit to reduce the cost of each kilowatt hour the school and county uses, as Commissioner Collins was referring. 1 megawatt ground-mounted agricultural solar array for 20 years with a lease of $31,500 with a 1.5% annual increase will generate a total over 20 years of approximately $728,000. The energy savings are approximately $22,000 per year, or close to an additional $450,000 in energy savings. And then there will be tax revenue for Walpole based on the personal property taxes assessed in the project. Future plans include replacing the livestock barn with a canopy. The existing livestock barn is not in the best shape, but will be with a canopy that will be used for a new cow and pig barn, but powered by renewable energy. So the facility will be built similar to what you see in the parking lot for a canopy, but there'll be sides put all around it. Next slide. So Massachusetts, the Department of Energy Resources introduced a new program a few years ago called the Agricultural Solar Opportunity. It's a program that encourages development of solar and agricultural solutions. Currently in Massachusetts, there are 10 that are qualified and approved, and 3 have completed construction. What is ag solar? It's built on current farmland. It's a raised structure, slightly taller than a typical ground-mounted solar array. It allows agricultural workers or machinery to access it. By the nature of the program, you can have no more than 50% shading. It's a crop and farming plan endorsed by the Massachusetts Department of Agricultural Resources, or MDAR, and UMass Amherst, which is part of the whole program, to ensure the viability of it. There's an annual ongoing monitoring and research program delivering an annual scorecard to the DOER, Department of Energy Resources, UMass Amherst, and MDAR. Following initial discussions with MDAR and DOER and Aggie, we've already identified significant teaching and research opportunities. There's also something new which is really exciting, which is potential federal grants. One just came out a week ago that we intend to apply for, where the benefits will be shared with the Aggie and the county, as well as the grid. That's an $8 million grant opportunity offered by the Department of Energy Resources. Next slide. So the Ag Solar is a very exciting program. It's a new approach and it's a new project that integrates into the original Norfolk County Aggie Sustainability Initiative. We've gone back over the last 2.5 years, looked at other projects. We've had several meetings, now north of 14 meetings. We've had 3 different sites. What makes this so interesting is that it's a win for many different groups. There are some concerns where trees will be cut down, but as I pointed out before, the benefits dramatically offset the acres of trees that will need to be cut down to start with. This program extends the educational component from existing projects, including pollinator experiments. It adds co-farming practices, crop production studies, and this will put the Aggie, position the Aggie as a leader in sustainability and agrivoltaics, as one of the leading schools and the only school that we would know right now in the country that would have an ag solar program. It's viable revenue. It's a provide a revenue opportunity for small farmers as well, and demonstrates how farms can put in a program like this. It's an excellent fit with the curriculum. It's a learning experience from design to construction to operations, including potential for internships for students. It involves multiple disciplines at the Aggie, forestry, environmental science, and sustainable farming. As I said, there's also research and valuable educational partnership. UMass Amherst oversees the program, and we've already submitted to them an outline of the program after having several meetings with different teachers and staff at the Aggie, and as well as an outside consultant at Kearsarge's cost who will come in and help oversee the program. So it's a partnership not only with UMass Amherst, but it's a continuing relationship. The internships we've identified so far include a construction contractor, and we'll have it from design to construction phase with any students that are eligible and interested. Finally, it's expanding the available land for hay and agriculture and provides energy, rent, and restoration at proposed location. The first crop at this point that we're looking at will continue to be hay. Next slide, please. So the history of this, there's been 2.5 years of discussion, site walks, and refinement. We had one area that was more in the woods, as many people here know, where there was the Halloween hayride, and that was moved away from there after feedback. There was another area that didn't work, that was too close to the road on the west side of the property. But the Ag Solar would be 1 megawatt DC. That's reduced 35% in size from the first project that was proposed to allow for proper distancing from abutters and less tree trimming. There's no fence lines around the array. The existing haying operation will continue and expanded to experimental cropping depending upon future plans. Kearsarge and outside experts will collaborate with the Aggie team in designing the array and farming plan. As I said, there'll be continuing collaboration with UMass, MDR, and DOER on the opportunity. There's also the potential to publish the results in papers and apply for grants such as the DOE grant. And finally, the Ag Solar Style Facility position, Norfolk County School is a leader in studying and promoting agriculture and renewables. UMass is very excited about working with the high school on the project as well. Next slide. The details. So hopefully people can see this. The array would sit on approximately 7 acres, overlapping 3 acres of the existing field, which are highlighted at the top. The row spacing, height, and tracking. The final row height and spacing will be based on farm equipment needs and Aggie input. We've already identified the current equipment that will need to be used to go around the array. Currently, the panels are set to be about 11 feet at the highest portion and 20 feet between the rows. A tracking solar array means that the panels can go from vertical to horizontal. So horizontal during the day, vertical, you can turn it at different times, as well as tracking sun, depending on what equipment you want to put underneath. The tracking system will be used to increase production, so you can follow the path of the sun during the day, minimize shade, and allow for equipment movement. There has to be turnarounds, 50 feet minimum to either end of the roads for equipment. You'll see a couple of pictures here, an example of the tractor system, as well as some of the tractors and the heights that go underneath it. You'll also see at the top of this, you have approximately 200 feet from the existing plot lines, offsetting the abutters. On the other sides, you'll see anywhere from 195 feet to 150 feet. And working with the Aggie forestry team, we've already identified 6 acres of second growth, which are harvestable trees, which will be removed. Some of these trees are currently already being harvested. And then we'll put important plantings in the southeast that have been identified and will be avoided. And then on the southern portion, you'll see where it says vegetated screening, where we'll put in some new trees. Next slide, please. The timeline over the last couple of years. In the last year, once we shifted to an ag solar array, we developed a task force at the ANDI with teachers and students. We've refined the design, the property plan, and the agricultural equipment plan, and there's still a lot of work that has to be done to finalize that. We've defined some of the early educational components, working with the AGGI, UMass, and agrivoltaic experts and outside consultant, developed a field study plan for annual analysis and reporting, and that will be integrated into the ongoing curriculum. Currently, DOER, MDAR, and UMass is reviewing the plan, and then we'll bring in more of the agrivoltaic consultants to help out. Eventually, we'll complete the design and solar equipment needs, taking refinement feedback from tonight, and then equipment orders will be placed, and construction is planned in 2022, 2023. That's it.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for listening to the presentation. And there's only one mic, so it's over there. And at this time, I'm just going to ask people to come on up. As we have the list of all the people that signed up to speak, so we're going to have everyone speak just in the order that they came in. And we've been asked if you could please state your name and spell your last name. We have a stenographer here today. She's writing down everything. And also state your address, if that's all right. So the first person that wished to speak.
Before you bring up the speaker, I have a question for the board. How come anybody that sent anything in, their comments on a written piece of paper cannot be read by one of the board members here tonight, so we know what that person sent in, and so it can help us out as a community to understand what other people's opinions are?
Well, every part of it is going to be on the record.
It doesn't matter about it doesn't matter about being on the record.
Give me your name and address for the record.
Yes.
You'll recognize that way, and you speak to the chair.
I am speaking to the chair.
Please, name and address.
John Burnett, B-U-R-N-E-T-T.
Thank you.
Online. I'm just asking if somebody has sent it in another committee has sent a piece of paper in with their opinion, how come your chairman or you as board can't read that to the rest of the people here that are in the audience as town people, as school people, that we have a better communication? I'm sensing a lack of communication right now on some of this stuff. I just want to know why that can't be read. That's all I'm asking.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Okay, so our first speaker.
Don't we get an answer for that? I've asked a question. Don't I get an answer back?
This is not a question and answer.
Okay, that's a problem. This is not a good hearing if you can't ask questions and get answers. This is not a legal hearing in my eyes.
Lack of transparency.
Absolutely. We have a problem. We have a problem here when you call a hearing and you don't. When you call a hearing and you want people to come up and, excuse me, if you call a hearing and you want people to come here and voice their opinion, why can't we have a question and answer period and get our questions answered? Right now, to me, I can tell you my opinion. I'm not for the solar. I'm for solar. I have solar in my house. I think it's a great idea. Don't get me wrong. I think what we hear is the area that you're proposing to put the solar in is our biggest problem. And my question would have been to you, have you communicated with the school people here on the campus, the students, the staff, and everybody? Has that been a good transparency through the whole process? I have my opinion that it isn't, of what I'm hearing, through what I hear through the grapevine stuff, and we have other publications that come out. This is my question, so I believe in having a hearing that we should be able to ask them questions, you questions, and get a report back. To me, tonight is a waste of time, if you ask me as a public person. I mean, I know it's politics, but I don't like it. I will
Excuse me, can I just come to the podium and just
One minute, please.
follow up with that?
because he's a county attorney.
Yes, sir.
Sir, you're entitled to your opinion about how.
Can you speak up, please? We can't hear you.
Sir. Can you come, you want the mic, sir?
I'm the attorney for the county. I've been representing the county for over 30 years. This is a public hearing pursuant to Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 34, Section 14. This is your opportunity to express your opinions. This is not a trial. This is not a question and answer period. This is a public hearing where we seek feedback from the community. With respect to individuals who are not here, they have forfeited their right to speak at this hearing. And if they've written something, that'll go into the record, but they don't have a right to have someone else state their words at this public hearing because they're not here.
Okay, but the board can't state that and read that from the board if they want to? If they chose to read, if they chose.
The chairman told you at the beginning of this hearing that there was a question and answer period. That's not the rules. Okay?
Who says the
Excuse
rule?
me, I don't think it's a question and answer. I think what he's stating is there are documents that you're going to put on the record why you may not be read tonight.
Excuse me.
What is the reason that you can't read somebody's opinion that was handed to you this evening so the folks that are here can hear it versus trying to find this opinion at another date? I'm just asking.
And we always let it be out there. Yeah.
We're going to give us the
The record will
information.
be part of this hearing, and as far as who makes the rules, I do.
Well, then that was.
Pursue, you're entitled to your opinion, but this is the way public hearings are run in Massachusetts.
So, sir, I have one more question. So if I take all the folks outside,
This demo can't take any of
This
this.
is, if you want it on the record, this is chaos and it's impossible,
Okay.
respectfully.
We're going to go to the speakers now. Thank you. All right, so the first speaker is
Excuse
Jim
me.
Johnson, the Walpole Town Manager.
Excuse me, my name is Paul Yorkis.
I'm sorry,
I
Mr.
live-
Yorkis, you are
My
not
name
present.
is Paul Yorkis. I live in Medway, Massachusetts. Yorkis.
What's your first name, sir?
Paul, P-A-U-L. The reason I'm raising this question is I have been an elected official in other communities. And when in other communities, when there is a question at a public hearing, the answer is provided. And you, sir, said you make the rules. Well, the rules are supposed to be for the benefit of the community, not for you, not for the commissioners. It's for all of these citizens. Thank you very much for that.
For the record, my name is Richard Stady. I'm one of the three commissioners. Some of you know me, some of you do not. I also serve as moderator in town candy, and there are certain procedures that are followed town by town and place by place. I will note for the record, that there was a written testimony offered by Matthew Senior in opposition to this proposal. That will be entered into our record. And certainly it's unfortunate, right or wrong, that he couldn't be here. Matthew's a trustee of the Aggie School. He has strong feelings, which I know he's communicated to you about that. He's communicated that to me and others as well. We recognize that, but we were guided by our counsel. And you have to understand we're also engaged in a lawsuit, so we have to follow our counsel. So our counsel has told us to accept the testimony, and that's what we're following tonight. The rest of you are welcome to speak. We're going to listen to you, and that's all I really can say in the matter. So please bear with us. Let's get our hearing started. But Matthew's testimony in opposition is noted for the record, and it's been entered in testimony. Thank you.
Mr. Johnson?
I just wanted to, it was just a equipment adjustment. Thank you very much. Just give me a moment to.
I'm sorry, ma'am. You're not next. You'll have plenty of time to speak. Mr. Johnson's next. Thank you.
Commissioners, thank you for allowing me the time to come here tonight to speak to this matter.
What's your name, sir?
Jim Johnson, Town Walpole, Johnsson, Town Administrator. I also live at 565 Lincoln Road in Walpole. As you may already be aware, I've submitted a formal letter outlining the Town of Walpole's comments and concerns regarding the proposed solar farm on the site. These comments and concerns included the following. Walpole Town officials are concerned with losing the rural character and open space in the general area where the solar farm is being proposed. If this project moves forward, the town is requesting that the county work with the developer to ensure that there is sufficient tree buffer to prevent the surrounding homes in the area from having to view the solar farm. The town is requesting that the county agree to place a conservation restriction on the remaining wooded area that is not being disturbed. And finally, the town respectfully requests that the commissioners follow the process that other solar farms in Walpole have adhered to, which include the following. Requesting town meeting to approve a zoning overlay district for the area for which the photovoltaic panels will be used in a large area. This will allow town meeting to have public input on the process and to be advertised in our warrant booklet. The zoning, the planning board will be allowed to have a public hearing prior to town meeting. And it will also allow, if approved, the applicant, the county, and their developer, to file with the various land use boards and allow the public to attend the meeting, provide input to the various land use boards prior to the project moving forward. So that's it for me. Thank you for your time and consideration. Good luck today.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Okay, next is Glenn Maffey of the Walpole Select Board. Mr. Maffey, if you could just state your name and address, that'd be great.
Good evening to the Commissioners. My name is Glenn Maffey, M-A-F-F-E-I, 44 Pinnacle Drive in Walpole. I'm also a member of the Select Board. I'm here on my own behalf as an individual, however. And I'll be brief, but I want to start by saying thank you for having the public hearing, for listening to all our ideas and concerns. I did speak at the last public hearing on Zoom in November of 2020, and my comments haven't really changed all that much since that time. At the time, I spoke in favor of a limited solar project, essentially asking that you decrease the size and the scope and the location. Since then, and to your credit, you have relocated the Aggie solar array that we're talking about here tonight, but maybe that doesn't go far enough. So I would hope for is a smaller project, and maybe one that altogether avoids solar panels here at the Aggie on the site. And still, in that way, you might want to move forward with the North Street array, but if we could just walk away from the Fisher Street array, I think that would be an improvement. And then the other thing that I would want to talk about is preserving and protecting the land that you end up moving up. So we decided to move it away from the Aggie backwoods, but someday down the road, there could be a proposal to build something, and so it'd be nice if we could put a conservation restriction or an easement on the Aggie backwoods to protect it. It's something that we talked about in our open space and recreation plan here in Walpole, and so I'm asking you tonight to consider placing a CR conservation restriction on the backwoods, which you're not going to need that land anyways. So I think it's something we're worth considering in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Maffey. I just wanted to say for the record that Senator Mike Rush's office is present tonight, but they are not speaking. So now we're going to the non-elected officials.
I'm right here, sir.
And now we're here for the speaker sign up for the non-elected officials, Mr. Peter Kane, a teacher here at the school.
I'm Peter Kane, K-A-N-E. 149 Ellis Street, Westwood, Mass. I apologize for my voice. Hopefully it'll get better as I continue to speak. So I'm one of 4 environmental science teachers here at the Edge. I teach sustainability, climate change, energy, environment, forestry, engineering, green engineering, and energy efficiency. What I'm concerned about is an apparent disconnect between what scientists are telling us about climate change and what most people understand or perceive. Global warming is not a scientific theory. At this point, it's an observed reality. The atmosphere, land, oceans are getting warmer, and that's leading to many undesirable consequences. We're seeing record heat, extreme weather, drought in some areas, floods in others, more forest fires, sea level rise, ocean acidification, etc. Most of these problems are caused by CO2 from the burning of fossil fuels. The Aggie runs on fossil fuels, natural gas, fuel oil, diesel, and electricity generated by the burning of fossil fuels. My students calculated the CO2 emissions from all my fossil fuel burning a couple of years ago. It was enormous. There's many reliable sources of information about climate change I would encourage you to check out. There's the IPCC reports, the National Climate Assessment, NASA website, Climate Ready Boston. All of those are excellent sources of information, and they're all saying the same thing. We have a rapidly closing window of opportunity to act. If we're going to keep the climate, keep this planet inhabitable, we've got to cut our emissions. The United States and also the state of Massachusetts has committed to cutting our emissions 50% by 2030 and 100% by 2050, net zero by 2050. At this point, CO2 emissions are still rising. We're on track for 2.7 degrees C temperature rise this century. NASA just introduced a report saying that the equivalent amount of heat that's accumulated on Earth is the equivalent of 1 million Hiroshima bombs a day. I think it's great that the school has already installed solar on 4 buildings and built a solar canopy. That's great. It's definitely cut our CO2 emissions, but we need to do much more. So that's the main reason I'm in favor of this project. It'll make us become part of the solution instead of part of the problem. I think we owe that to our children and all young people. All right, so stepping back for a second and looking at the cost and the benefits of this project. First, I just quickly want to read a few lines. This is the first page of the program of studies here at the school. Under our philosophy and goals, it states, the Norfolk County Agricultural High School believes agriculture and agribusiness are essential to the regional, national, and global economy. We recognize that agriculture, agricultural, and environmental technologies are vital to global survival. Under goals, it says, develop student understanding and appreciation for agriculture, natural resources, and the environment. So I look at this as primarily an agricultural project. This is an incredible opportunity for students here to learn about agriculture. Right now, farmers have a tough time. They're fighting climate change, they're fighting economic headwinds. The price of diesel has gone up dramatically. So all their costs are going up. And what solar and wind present as opportunities for farmers is a reliable source of secondary income.
Mr. Kane, if you could wrap up here.
Yeah, 2 seconds.
We're trying to set a limit for all speakers to be fair. Wrap up, please.
So I calculated the amount of trees that would be cut down, what the percent of area, forested area on campus is 6%. So roughly 94% of the forested area on campus would stay intact. This project will reduce our CO2 footprint, align us with the mass and federal goals for reduction, It's a tremendous opportunity here for students in many majors, both environmental, plant, and medical benefits. This project will clean up the dump that's back here, which needs to be done. This is good for the reputation of the school and will also help us be more energy secure. So, and finally, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to speak, and I urge everyone to support this project.
Thank you, Mr. Baker. The next person on the list is Samantha Packer. Samantha, if you could just state your name and address for the record, please.
Hi, my name is Samantha Packer, spelled P-A-C-K-E-R. I'm from 434 Road in Stoughton, Massachusetts. Really quickly, I'm very sorry not to beat it at horse, but I do feel it was right to make this a clear process for the people and teachers of Walpole, and it was a good idea to maybe change the rules today and speak for the people who couldn't be here, because sometimes things happen. Not couldn't be here because I think a flight happened. No, life happens, but anyways, that's not my point. I think this is a great opportunity in many ways. However, currently, as I oppose the Aggie Solar Project as is until further defined. I'm a student from Norfolk Aggie class of 2017, and I drove 2 hours to be here. 2 hours out of my way just because I'm so passionate about our local forests and their ecosystems. I'm not sure if you're aware, but there are endangered species within these woods that you intend to cut down for this solar project. And as a student who is very passionate about wildlife and ecology, I strongly oppose the taking of the critical habitat, these 6 acres of second growth trees that were mentioned, and hope that you truly work with the Aggie community, students and teachers, to ensure that these species are actually protected as well as their habitat. However, if you intend to cut these trees down, these endangered animals will not have protection unless you have serious plans to do so. And I can't understand how this would be allowed, especially on the grounds that taught me to protect them. The cutting of this critical habitat is certainly not a green act, although I do support solar energy and the cutting of carbon emissions, but I do not support this portion of the project whatsoever when it comes to taking critical habitat of these endangered species. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Packer. Mr. Red Morse, please state your name and address, please.
Well, my name's Red Morse, 84 Lincoln Street, North Mass. Those of you who don't know me, my name is Red Morse. I'm currently the president of the Norfolk Aggie Alumni Association. I was asked to speak on behalf of thousands of Aggie grads that oppose this project. First off, I would like to say that in general, the alumni, as well as the Alumni Association, are not against solar or renewable energy, and are all supportive of the school's effort to reduce their carbon footprint. But we are opposed on the location of this project and the destruction of valuable forest and agricultural land on school campus. Having been affiliated with the Aggies for 45 years, first as a student, then as a staff member for 20 years, and now president of the Alumni Association for over 12, I know firsthand what this land means to the students, staff, curriculum, and community of Norfolk Aggie, the town of Walpole, and Norfolk County. Trying to say that a solar project of this size would be educational under the Dover Amendment, in my opinion, is ridiculous. You don't need to construct 35 plus acres of solar to show students how renewable energy functions and works. A much smaller 1 acre solar field would serve the same purpose and would probably be more accessible to the students. First off, access to the project of this size would most likely be off limits to the students' population most of the time due to fencing requirements that protect the equipment from safety and vandalism. Second, in the way that the current student schedule system is now, the hilltop property, which would be 25 acres of solar, will most likely be used very little by students due to the time of the schedule and blocks. The site on the main campus holds much more educational value the way it is now. Just using it to limit use. I take my glasses off to read. The site on the main campus holds much more educational value the way it is than just using it for limited use for solar and possibly sheep production as has been proposed. The proposed site currently is part of the cross-country trail, one of the nicest in the state, as well as an irrigation pond constructed in the mid-50s. The overgrowth forest, I have been told by experts, will eliminate more carbon over the years than the solar would produce in the same time frame. Also in this area are endangered, and I'm going to butcher this word, Tsuga oleogentis, a rare hemlock tree that has a great impact on controlling hemlock woolly adulsion that is decimating eastern Canadian hemlocks in the northeast part of the United States. The main campus is used by all 4 big agricultural majors on a daily basis as outdoor classrooms, from climbing trees to balance and studies, equestrian riding trails to equipment operations, which will not be available for use if the project is carried out and the area is fenced off. Having been around the ag for so many years, I have been part of and have seen many changes, some good, some bad, but personally I have to agree with most of the alumni, school staff, and students that we as an Illinois board have spoken to that would definitely be a bad decision for the school and county to move forward on. I quote past Commissioner Fran O'Brien, Norfolk Aggie is the jewel of Norfolk County. Please have some common sense and keep it that way. God rest her soul.
Thank you, Mr. Morse. I've been asked, just to remind everyone that this is the hearing on the Fisher Street project, so that's what we want to focus our comments on if we can. Mr. Bill Hamilton, you're next.
William Hamilton, Hamilton, 45 Elmwood Drive, South Walpole, Mass. I'm very concerned. I oppose this project because I've seen that some of it, if not all of it, is in our Area 3 of the Water Resource Protection Overlay System. That is the area that protects our water supply. If the county commissioners allow this to happen, then I believe it is their duty to ensure that the hazardous material in these solar panels never makes it to our wellhead at Mine Brook. I asked the Sewer and Water Commission at a public hearing whether or not those hazardous materials that they checked for in parts of the Triton, and some are contained in the solar panels, have been detected at the Mine Brook wellhead, and they have told me no. So it is your duty. If you don't do it, I would consider you negligent in your duties. Now, that's my first issue. The second issue is these solar panels are 99% built in China. And China uses slave labor to build these. And I strongly object to using them. In fact, Russia, who has threatened countries who are in Ukraine's area and are part of our commitment to defend their areas, and they're threatening them. That is being a threat to us. And any way that aid and comfort is given to China to buy these solar panels, I think is treasonous. So that's my concern, and it should be the concern of the Norfolk County Commissioners. And keep in mind, there are some people who live in Walpole who I still see from time to time who were attacked at the Chozan Reservoir by the Chinese. And that's a very serious thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hamilton. So the next person is Perma Patel. I'm not sure if I pronounced it right. If I didn't, I apologize. If you could please state and spell your first and last name for the stenographer. That'd be great.
Sure. My name is Hamali Patel, P-A-T-E-L. I live on 12 Susan Drive in Walpole. What's the first name? Hamali, H-E-M-A-L-I. H-E-M-A-L-I. Yeah. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you for the opportunity today. I just wanted to mention this is my first public hearing. So I don't know what the usual process is, but I'm going to try and do my best to follow the rules. So I am here with a couple of my neighbors who are sitting in the corner with me, and I'm here to represent everybody who lives on Susan Drive and Phillips Street. These are the two streets that are closest to this location. We are all in favor of using clean source and reducing the carbon footprint. However, we are against this project because of the location. I just want to be very clear about that. We are not against the idea of using clean source of energy, but the location just does not make sense to us. And so my question would be, what were the other locations that were ruled out before you ended up with this location as the chosen site? We also want to state very clearly that the process for choosing this has been far away from transparent. We live on that street. We are a very friendly neighborhood. We have seen multiple people come from this company visiting, and as you mentioned, they have done sidewalks and communications for 2 years. I have not had a single communication with anybody from this company. I live literally next to the location where this site is going, along with my neighbors. Would you please raise your hands? We have never had any communication or any contact or any opportunity other than this one. That does not sound like a good process to me. That does not sound like a process that we are used to in Walpole. So we are against it, again, not because of the project or the intention behind this, but we are against it because of the location. All of our houses fall right next to this location, and we don't understand how this is going to impact us. Nobody has explained it to us. Nobody has communicated with us. Until we saw it over here, and except for following a few people on Facebook, we have no idea what this is about. That does not sound right to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Patel. So the next person is Zero Damaso.
My name is Zero Damaso, D-A-M-A-S-O. I live on 6 Eastland Circle in East Walpole, Massachusetts. I'm a sophomore environmental science major at the Aggie. I don't normally stand up and do this. I've skipped every presentation this year at school, and so I feel very strongly about this to come up and present. I believe that we should have the agrivoltaic system. Looking at this as an environmental major, it pushes the school in the right direction to combat climate change, and it reduces the school's use of energy from dirty energy such as that produces carbon dioxide. Looking at the addition of this system as a student, I see many benefits. As an environmental major, I would love to see the construction of the solar panels, because I didn't get to see the construction of the large solar array in the parking lot. And I think having like a visual of the agrivoltaics would be a very helpful thing to get to see how it works, the trucks going through. When we were learning about it, we didn't get to see any of that. Environmental majors wouldn't be the only ones that benefit from it. The plant majors can learn about what grows well underneath the solar panels, and the ag-mech majors can still work their machines through all of the solar panels and work around it. Overall, it's a great way to get clean renewable energy and not waste any land in schools. In the end, ag is all about being work ready and life ready. Solar panels are a part of the future if we don't want the earth to just die. And in order to be work and life ready, implementing the system is important. Agrivoltaics is a part of the future, and students should learn about it, especially if it applies to their majors. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Damaso. The next person that signed up to speak is Connor Lane. Mr. Lane, if you could just state your name and address, that'd be great.
Okay. My name is Connor Lane, L-A-N-E. I live on 39 Wilmore Road in Braintree. What?
I didn't understand where.
Oh, 39 Wilmore Road, Braintree. Wilmore.
Yeah, you might want to lower that.
Okay.
Thank you.
I am a sophomore, and I am an environmental science student here. I am clearly biased in what I am going for. I am for the agrivoltaic setup. I believe that the lost trees that would be affected don't really affect us as students, because 9 times out of 10, when we go out for a hike or go into the forest, it is to the other areas, not where this is going to be held. As Mr. King said, it is only estimated like 6% of the forest on campus. And a lot of the forest area we do have is sadly full of a lot of invasives. There's one area that was affected by a microburst or a ratio, and that is full of it. Another point is we do need it here, because if we don't put it here, where else would it be? We do need to do this now, and this meeting shows how setting up an array takes a lot of time in order to plan it out and fully get it even to start the construction. So with the time that not very much time we do have, we do need to do this as quickly as possible. And also, a lot close solar is better due to the transportation of the electricity, and also it can bring a lot of good publicity for the school, especially it can help promote the environmental science area, which I only knew about because I had a family member who went here, and when they were here, they had environmental science as a major. And it can also, as mentioned before, teach students about it. With environmental science as a good source of clean energy, with plant science, what plants can help grow better under it, as we would be working with UMass, and AgMech in what vehicles can drive under and how to work with it.
Thank you, Mr. Link. The next person on the list to speak is Mr. Emmett Walsh.
My name is Emmett Walsh, first name Emmett is E-M-M-E-T, Walsh, I live at 1057 Main Street, Walpole. I had no intention of saying anything here at all. I'm against this for 2 reasons. One, I've just been out to that piece of property. It's beautiful. I think it is valuable as solar energy and all that might be. Just the land and the trees in themselves have their own value that needs to be kept. The second thing that I would say that I'm against now is sometimes the way things are done. I think almost that they were going to, you had the cure for cancer. Okay, you come in here though, and you say that we have a lawyer that says he makes the rules. We have the gentleman in the middle, I'm sorry, I don't know the title. He gets up and he says one of my least favorite things in the world to dodge answering any questions is that there's a lawsuit, so I can't speak to a lawsuit. The company that makes the presentation is not going to answer any questions. And the first thing that was said in this meeting before anything, anything was we're not going to answer any questions. And just some observations I saw as I go here, that, the money that's going to be raised in the $31,000 a year going to the school. $31,000 a year, 12 months, it's about like a $3,000 a month mortgage for 9 acres of land. I dare say that anybody who owns a house around here probably has a half acre of land that has a mortgage that big for something so small, and you're getting 9 acres. So no questions will be answered. Maybe I need to know why. I wonder how much Care says, whether they're in a good business or not, how much money they're going to make off of this. And if they take 9 acres now of that beautiful land out here, 5 years from now, because Care is making a lot of money, or somebody's making a lot of money, they're going to come after more land. And I also wonder about all kinds of other things that are not going to be answered. The state, for whatever reason, turned down leasing this land. Walpole turned down leasing this land, and it's steered to Kearsarge. And everything that I see here reeks of this is a formality. No questions, nothing. Again, we might as well, I might as well go out the parking lot and say this, because no questions, no nothing. And I think when they made their presentation at one point, they also said some of the trees have already been harvested, which needs chopped down. If this is not already a done deal, why are trees already being removed? It's just, again, this seems... You also said that this hearing is being done in keeping with Mass General laws, so you have to do it. Again, I hate to say this, I hate judging anything about people, but the arrogance that came from that table which is, it's an arrogance corner. They know it's a done deal. It's going to be done. It's steered here. We have to do this. Let these clowns get up, say what they want to say, and it's going to happen anyways. And that's a lot more aggressive than I want to be, but it just, again, it reeks of a done deal and it reeks of arrogance. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. The next person on the list is Justin Kennedy.
Good evening, my name is Justin Kennedy. I'm from Bellingham, Massachusetts, and I have a unique relationship with these woods. Many years ago, I came to this school as a kid from the city of Boston. I'm a graduate of the area. My other relationship to this woods is I'm an educator here at the area. And I would like to think that each and every one of us in here are good stewards of the earth and will listen to the children we educate. We get so far past what our intention is. This is Norfolk County Agricultural High School. It's a high school for children. We educate them about things. You know, you might be thinking that, oh, is this guy for solar panels? No, I'm not. Okay? It was a very nice presentation that you guys gave. The few questions I have that I'm not going to answer, what I'm going to ask you. I am the art teacher. In the 15 years I've been teaching here, never graduated a forester. There is no forestry program. It's an arbor program. The arbor program produces arborists that go out into the community and start their own businesses and are good stewards of the land. The forestry program that people speak of is one class. Trees are not being harvested for economic personal gain or gain for the school. Trees are being harvested for the educational purpose of the student. Trees are being harvested to show the student how to make money from trees. Yes. Okay. How to process trees into lumber. Okay. How to deal with situations in our beautiful woods. Okay. Where we did have some sort of weather event. Okay. That provides an unbelievable educational program for these kids. We've listened to them before. Actually, maybe you didn't listen to them before. During COVID, numerous graduates have called in opposing this project. But we don't listen to them. They're kids. We're the adults. We make the decisions. But we got to start making the right decisions. We need to start listening to the community. Right? We need to start being truthful to one another. Because the truth is the money going to the school? The money, we can't get that answer. Where is the money going? During your presentation, please cross out forestry, put in economics. Because your presentation is about the financial gain for the county. I support my students, even though I may disagree with you. But I commend you for getting up here and talking about something you're passionate about. That is something that was taught in the classroom, whether it was in my classroom or Mr. Kane's classroom. But that's what it's about. I serve the community, I educate children. You guys serve the community, you listen to the citizens. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burnett. And the last person that signed up to speak is Sue Ruggiero.
Mr. Kennedy.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry, Mr. Kennedy. John Burnett is next. I apologize. Sorry, Mr. Burnett.
That's okay. John Burnett, 18 Burton Ave, Whitman, Mass, Plymouth County. A graduate, that's why I'm here tonight. I don't want to repeat everything tonight. To the two students, great job. Great job. Good job. I think tonight, what I just saw here was a lot of information brought out. I hope a word that isn't taught in schools anywhere in this country anymore is common sense. I hope you, as commissioners, dealing with Plymouth County Commissioners when I was involved with them, please use your common sense on this issue. I think the issue tonight, and I'm looking at the residents here, is that the size of the project. I think the size of the project for Norfolk Aggie is way too big, okay? And cutting down forest lands is not my idea. I work with farmers. I'm on the oldest agricultural organization in the country, Mass Agricultural Group. The farmers are doing quite a bit on solar. We're not against solar. We're not against trying to save the world. We're not. The size of doing a project like this shouldn't be taking down forest land. I've seen it in my town, East Bridgewater, my county. I was devastated the acres they took down. When we have parking lots all across this country, and every town, put them all in the parking lots there. My son teaches at Upper Cape Regional, their parking lots covered just like our parking lot. That's where solar should go on. It shouldn't take down forest land. In the sides of the highways, you start to see it. That's where it should go. It's not taking up land that's good agricultural land that we can grow on. Yeah, we can destroy solar in 25 years when the solar panels go. The panels are junk in 20, 25 years. We all know that. We know they're going to be hazardous waste back then. But we got to think now, even though we do need some. I love the idea of windmills. I love the idea of solar. My place in New Hampshire, there's windmills all around us. At first I hated it, but now I get used to it. It's okay. But we got to not take down forest land. We're trying to preserve as much open land as we can in this country now by all the national parks and everything. I think we can work this deal out by changing the location. I don't think you need all that here at Aggie. I think somebody said on one of the talks that an acre is fine. You got to understand, teaching in the classroom. I know, I've been there. I taught here a little bit. I've helped in other schools. To teach kids, it's hard to have this big project and teach kids on it. Maybe at a college level it's a little bit better, but here at the school I think it was a good point. If you give them an acre and teach them how to use the acre solar, that's a start. But I believe that, yes, we need more solar, but I believe you can put it in a different spot. I know your Superior Court hearing, your registry of deeds here in Norfolk County, got plenty of room. Just like we do down in Plymouth. There's prison, there's plenty of room that they don't use. That's where it should go. Not on a piece of good forest land. That's what I want to fight for. But I hope you guys use common sense. I know the say answering the question thing, that's what I was hoping it was for. And I do think, and I have to say this because I'm a politician in a way, the problem, the reason the country's in the mess it is because we do not communicate good. We hide too many things and we don't communicate with the public. And I think that's a big problem. And we saw it here tonight, we heard it tonight, that even in-house, they don't communicate. The more we communicate, the less problems we're going to have in life. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burnett. And I apologize, Ms. Ruggiero. Apologize for calling you up out of turn. So, Ms. Sue Ruggiero, if you could please state your name and address.
Sure. Hi, my name is Sue Ruggiero. I live over at 277 High Plain Street in Lowell. Ruggiero. I wasn't planning on speaking. I actually was going to wait and see how things went. And I was hoping to maybe get some questions answered. It's unfortunate that this is what happened here tonight. I'm the type of person, when I don't know something, I try to find out as much about it as I can. And I don't look at just one source, I look at every source I can find. Now, if you go on this company's webpage, everything is roses about this stuff. So I looked at their webpage, and they do mention the Aggie, okay, as one of the places that is for their solar panels and for what they're trying to do. So I looked at other sources, and some of the stuff I found was kind of scary. I live a mile and a half from here. I walk these grounds quite often. I have a sophomore in the school. Now, to me, what comes first is the students. That's what's most important here, it should be. What comes next should be the animals that are here, and not the ones that are just in the that are the cows and the sheep and the pigs, but also the animals that are in the trees and in the ground. Now, one thing that happens with solar panels is they do have an average shelf life of about 25, 30 years. Now, in 20 years from now, these solar panels that are kind of on the back end of that 25, 30-year period, when they start to break down and they start to leak into the ground, cadmium telluride, copper, indium, gallium selenide, copper, silicon, and lead. Is this company going to be held accountable? When it starts leaking into the water, and it starts hurting people, possibly killing people, who knows, causing all kinds of craziness, is this company going to be held accountable? It's unfortunate that we can't ask any questions, because I would like some answers. The longevity of these panels, the way they're put together, and how they make it inherently difficult, to use the term, demanufacture. So they try to recycle it. I mean, I'd like to know more about it. I hope this is not a done deal. I hope this isn't just a formality. So, I just wish there was more time. I apologize for not being here sooner. I didn't know about it. Because I know. So, I'm hoping that it's not a done deal, and I'm hoping that there will be some questions and answers in a more civilized way of doing it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Virgilio. That was the last person that signed up to speak. We did have written comments. There was a letter from the Walpole Selectmen.
Excuse me. Is it too late? Can I speak? I didn't know. I was going to sign up and then I wasn't able to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on up. I'm just gonna mention. So there were written comments. Keep coming.
Okay.
And
I'm going to keep them very simple.
That's going to be placed on record. Every word of everything that people have written is going to be on the record.
Okay.
An email from Jeannie and Stephen Manning. There was an email from the Seeger family, and there was a letter from Matt Sheehan. He's a trustee at the Aggie here. He's from Devon. So that every moment, every word and every correspondence will be placed right on the record.
Okay.
So please state your name and your address, please.
My name is Patty Sheehan. I'm from Walpole, Mass. And there's just a couple facts that I wanted to throw out there.
Did you say Patty Sheehan?
Patty Sheehan. No relation to Matt Sheehan. I just wanted to mention some facts. The forests behind this school are 80 years old. As forests get older, their ability to remove and store carbon increases as time goes on. This is what's referred to as old growth forest. Fields also serve as what's called a carbon sink and remove carbon from the atmosphere. These are the best as well as our natural tools for fighting climate change. 1 acre equals 43,569 square feet. In the last 30 years, the state of Massachusetts has clear cut and covered over 70,000 acres or 304,983,000 square feet of forests and fields to install solar panels. The total land destroyed by the Norfolk County Solar Project will be 30 acres or 1,307,000 square feet. The question I have is there nowhere else that these solar panels can go? We are closing Cedar Junction in the next 2 years. There will be no need to upset neighbors. There will be no concern about leakage into water sources because there's an area that's available. Have we considered that? Is that an option? Or why is it that the trees have to come down in order for these solar panels to go up? I know you can't answer that question, but I think that's on everybody's mind. Why destroy the forest? The other question I have is, this land is home to various species. You cut down these trees, we are neighbors. Where do these animals go? Do they come to my backyard? Do they go to someone else's backyard where their children are? And perhaps a child is injured because a coyote from the Aggie has nowhere else to go? I think these are concerns, and again, I think the feeling is that there's no transparency and that there are more questions that need to be answered. And again, it's a business. I get that, we're all in it to make money, but maybe a little bit more information on an open session where people can have questions and answers should maybe be put on a docket. Thank you.
Excuse me, I I won't be late too. I'd like to make a copy.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Peter DiPasca, D-I-P-A-S-C-A. I live at 15 Beethoven Avenue in Walpole. I've been a resident of Walpole for 15 years, and I'm an environmental and sustainability professional for over 35 years. There was an article 2 Sundays ago in the Boston Globe magazine, and I saw this. It's about the Battle of the Cranberry Bogs. Hit really close to home. It was about people who were just being suffocated by solar panels, too close to their homes. And there was a comment here that really resonated with me, and I hope it resonates with everyone else here. It said, just because something is called renewable doesn't mean that it should be promoted at all costs. We're killing the planet and trying to save it. I love the idea of renewable energy, but I hope you can look inside yourselves and admit to yourselves that this is just not the right location. Any sustainability project that you want to promote has to satisfy 3 components, right? You want to, the 3 components of any sustainable project is people, planet, and performance, right? People, you're not satisfying what the people want here. The planet, yes, renewable energy is a fantastic thing, but you can do that elsewhere. You need to look at county property. You need the rooftops, parking lots, the undeveloped land that's not covered by trees. And as far as performance goes, I know one of your objectives is to reduce your energy costs. Well, let's try to reduce energy costs by reducing your energy consumption. So those are the things that you should be looking at. Thank you very much.
Before we close the public hearing, just a point I'd like to make. First of all, thank you all for coming. And thank you for your information and for your testimony. I don't want anyone to leave here thinking it's a done deal. In fact, those who know me probably know my record. My record will stand for itself. It says where I voted and where I stood. I'm not afraid to take a different position. I respect my colleagues, and I ask you to respect the board, respect the process. By all means, what we're trying to do tonight is just follow the rules of a public hearing as told by our council. We have to do that. So our purpose tonight was to listen and to write down and to learn. This by no means it's a done deal. We'll be talking about this and having other discussions as well. And I'd just like to make that clear. So I thank you for your comments. They're duly noted, and hopefully we can work this through. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so if there's no further public comment, I'll take a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll move we close the public hearing.
I'll second the motion. All in favor? Aye. Aye. The public hearing is closed. Thank you all for coming. We really appreciate your input, and we'll take the matter under advisement. Thank you very much.